Joe Mackenzie here, your watercolor coach. Let's talk for a minute about the frame game, because I have a group on Facebook and this has come up as a topic. Some people, and it is a problem it's a watercolor woe, because you can't just paint the painting and then put it on the wall. Well, I guess you could with tape, but that would be tacky. So when you're doing watercolor, you're kind of faced with now what to do with it in terms of presentation. As you know from other videos that I've done, I put mine in a mat with a glassine envelope, send it in a box, and that's how I sell my original artwork. But, and some people send work not matted at all. Some people paint on panels. That is something that I won't do, not because I'm against panels, but because I cannot handle the fixative. The fixative makes me ill for days. So that's just not an option for me. But I think it's a brilliant option if you can handle that smell. So what do you do with frames? Well, you have to, I think when it comes to selling, you have to decide if you want to be in the frame game or not. I decided early on, I don't want to be in the frame game. It's too subjective. What I might like might not be what someone else likes. So that was easy. I'm not going to frame things. And I never planned on framing big work anyway. But when it comes to exhibiting work or having a work in a gallery, then you have to have things framed. All right, so let's talk about galleries for a minute. Usually a gallery will specifically know what they want and how they want it presented, and you sort of have to honor that. Okay, fair enough. Now when you're exhibiting your own work, what I decided was I was going to stick with one type of frame and make it uniform so that, there was none of this haphazard looking stuff. So I looked at my mentor, Susan Abbott, and how she was framing things, and she was framing things under glass with gold metallic frames that were very simple lines. And I decided, well, I'm just going to go with that. And so that's what I've done ever since then. Now, I didn't go to a framer to do it because I couldn't afford for a framer to do it. I mean, that's ideal to have a framer do it because they'll do it beautifully, and there won't be a random dog hair in there when you're all done. So as you know, what I do instead is I bought my mats from Mat Board and More, so that gets mail ordered to me. I buy the sides of my frames from Dick Blick, but you can buy them from any frame supply. And I would put the frames together. So the mats already came cut, so I put those together, the frame together, and I would go into town to get the glass or the plexiglass cut. And usually I use glass because plexi is so easy to get a scratch on, and more expensive too. So, and then I would assemble the paintings myself. So I did that for a lot of years. And then about 3 years ago, I had a major show and I looked at my paintings, and for me, each one of them looked a little bit flawed. They just didn't look, they looked, I think I could pick apart one thing about every frame job that I had done, because it wasn't a professional job. It was good. It was good. It was only if you looked really close. And if you're going to put your work in a place where people are going to be scrutinizing it, and this was at the Governor's Gallery, and there was no way I was going to put something in there with, Maggie's hair in it. So what I did was I went to my local framer, I brought all my pictures in, and what they did was they went through them with a fine-tooth comb. So if there was a mat that was discolored or had something wrong with it, they would recut that, and they reassembled those paintings. So I knew when I went to that show that everything that I put on the wall, people could decide if they liked the work or not, but it wasn't going to be picked apart because it was either sloppily put together or had any kind of damage, either in the frame, the glass, or the mat. So everybody has to decide their own thing. And at this point, looking back, if I had a magic wand, I would change every frame that I had for something that's a little bit more current, but I don't. And so I'm just sticking with what I have, which I think is still fine. And now it does depend on, if you're in a watercolor society or any kind of group, they're going to have set rules as well. Some won't take any wooden frames, some won't take metal frames. Almost none of them will take the frames, they grip from the top and the bottom. For obvious reasons, because glass breaks so quickly. It's so easy to break. So to be cost effective, just to review, what I do is I do buy the parts of the frame. I buy the mats online, I buy the parts of the frame online, then I go to a professional to put it together for me, and I have them handle the glass as well. And so when the work is returned to me, it's in perfect condition, and I don't have to worry about that. And that's been cost effective for me. I know compared to the cost of actually bringing a piece of artwork in and having them do the whole thing, which is, considerable. And like I said, and everything is matted the exact same way. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Remember to keep the whites of your paper white, your paints wet, mass for value, mix for color, and keep the conversation going about framing, because I think it's a really interesting one. Okay, bye-bye.